Welcome to At Your Library. I'm your host, Cathleen Clifford. Joining me today at the beautiful Esker Point Beach here in Groton, Connecticut is our Public Service Librarian, Lindsey.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
This is one of my favorite shows we do every year. So here we are on the water, near the beach, and I'm ready to read. So we like to come and tell you what we think are some books that you must read this summer. And of course,
Yes.
they're all available at the library.
Of course.
So Lindsey and I are going to take turns giving you some suggestions if you want to get a pen and paper down to write them down, and they all are available at the Groton Public Library.
Yes.
So, all right, so I'll go first.
Sure.
So staying on theme, this is a cozy mystery called Book to Death. The story is a local library who partners with the local mystery book club, but the president of the book club and the librarian do not get along. There's quite a lot of disgust between them. So can you imagine the surprise when right after the first meeting, the librarian opens the door to find the head of the book club dead?
Gasp.
But it is a cozy mystery, so it's not too gory. And through reading this book, it'll be fun, and we'll find out just who did it. So, Booked at the Library by V.M. Burns. Check this one out. My second book is a little different. Baseball, America's pastime, summer, hot dogs, peanuts. This is the book. This is nonfiction. It is the story of Ryan McGee, who is very in the sports industry. He has a podcast. He's been on ESPN, but he had to start somewhere. So this book is a funny, sweet memoir of Ryan's first summer working in a professional baseball setting. And he does everything from helping the players to running the snack bar and anything in between they need him to do. So this book is very funny and it's sweet, and it has America's favorite pastime, baseball, in it.
Fun.
So how about you?
All right. So my first book is also nonfiction. It is called Chatter by Ethan Cross. And I don't know, in the summer, sometimes you like to reflect a little bit, maybe get yourself ready for the rest of the year. And what this book does, it talks about your inner monologue. Do you have an inner monologue?
I do. I thought maybe it was just me, but no. I do.
So this is when the inner monologue kind of becomes chatter, when it gets you a little anxious, when it's maybe negative self-talk. It's a bunch of strategies on how to work with that chatter in your favor. So really helps me, and Ethan Cross is one of our virtual authors that you can see through Groton Public Library. He's coming, you can see him live, or if you miss it, you can go to our webpage afterwards and watch it. And if you are someone who wants some strategies, definitely come see him or read this book, or like get out in nature. He's got some really great ones, so definitely check this one out.
I know with everything that's been going on in the world, sometimes we really do need to get that outside of our head.
Oh yeah, and that's definitely what that book is all about.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And after your calm and your anxiety is gone, it's time to read a romance. This is the most common trope right now, enemies to friends. Hallie has a salad shop, and Wes is anti-love, anti-relationships, but they come together over and over again. So what goes wrong? They can become friends. They're gonna try hard, but you know, love always sneaks through in these books. So if you're looking for a nice, fun rom-com, A Guide to Being Just Friends by Sophie Sullivan. Brand new on our shelves this summer. For those of you who don't want to try somebody new, you want our tried and true, our buddy John Grisham has a new book out this summer. It is a rich saga full of history about a small town in the South, which he does so well. And the story follows a mob situation where a family wants to shut them down. They want to clean up their town, they want to reclaim it, but they're dealing with the mob here. So how is that going to happen? As always, John Grisham takes us on these epic journeys and really gets into his characters. They're thrillers, fast-moving, and he has a pretty good reputation, I've heard. So John Grisham, this is out now, and it is called The Boys from Biloxi, and it's at our library.
Very exciting. I've never actually read John Grisham.
Oh, he's really enjoyable.
I've heard. I mean, he's written so many books.
Yeah,
That
most of these characters are are lawyers because
Okay.
he might be a lawyer also.
yeah.
They write you. They know, right?
Right. Okay. So the next book I have to recommend is Sophie Go's Lonely Hearts Club by Rose L. Lim. I am not a romance reader, but there's always the exception, and this was definitely it for me. It was so heartwarming. Sophie is a matchmaker, and in this world, matchmakers see red threads that come from people's hearts and start to entangle themselves with their partners. They flick towards, they light up. And she can see them, which is great. Except she doesn't get her matchmaker's certificate after a tragedy. So she kind of has to start from scratch because nobody wants an uncredited matchmaker.
Right.
So she finds these. They call themselves the lonely ducks, I believe, or old ducks. It's old ducks. Lonely
okay.
ducks, old ducks. They're lonely old ducks. And they meet because they don't have anyone. They're older. They've kind of given up on love. But she thinks she can help them, and that will help her reputation and help her do the career she loves.
Okay.
So she kind of fits into this found family of older men. One bakes, one is just really sassy, and she helps them, and they help her in turn.
Nice.
Just by providing her a sense of family. So very cute, and she has her own romance. But again, for me, it was the old ducks.
The
Old ducks is what I loved.
It sounds really good. I might have to take that one out myself. So
Absolutely.
You can always put it on hold at the library if it's not available.
Yes.
Nice. This one is a very cute love story. It is about Billy, who is a single dad and a music teacher, and him and his teenage son live on top of a record store called Charm City Rocks. And Margot is a professional musician, and she is not having a very good time. She is miserable, she's depressed, her career's not going the way she wants. But somehow they get her to play at Charm City Rocks, and of course she meets Billy. So can it happen? Can this single dad, who's just a quiet, happy-go-lucky guy, fall in love with an edgy rock star? Well, if you want to find out, Charm City Rocks. This is a new book by Matthew Norman, and it is one of the must-reads of the summer. It is fantastic and fun. Another author that we can't escape these days is Colleen Hoover. I won't talk a lot about this one, but this is her latest book. It is the sequel to It Ends With Us. This is It Started With Us. It Starts With Us. Sorry, Colleen. Colleen Hoover is everywhere. If you have not read her, we have her entire collection in the library. She writes romance, but there are more women's fiction. There's an intense connection. Trigger, this one does talk about some domestic abuse, so it does tackle tough subjects, but you have some likable characters in here that can help ease that through you. So Colleen Hoover, she started on a long time ago, but became famous on TikTok, or Book Talk as they call it. So if you haven't heard of either one of those, or you haven't heard of Colleen Hoover, just come on into the library. So we have them all.
Yes, but also very popular. So that whole
that whole list will definitely
Yes.
be needed. But if you read It Ends With Us, then you definitely want to know where it started.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so the next one I'm going to talk about is The Collected Regrets of Clover by Mickey Bramer. And it is about a death doula. A death doula is someone who stays with people at their end of their lives and kind of ushers them as peacefully as possible through death.
I think it's a magnificent career.
Yeah, it was.
Such a
I'd
great
never
profession.
heard of it before, and this character, she starts off because, like, right in the first couple chapters, this is not a spoiler, her, I believe, kindergarten teacher dies in front of her while telling the Peter Rabbit story, and
wow.
all the other little kids freak out, and she holds his hand. And so she's always been branded kind of like a weirdo, obsessed with death, but she has a good support system with her grandfather who encourages her to follow the things she's interested in. And then she's off traveling death traditions all over the world.
Wow.
And her grandfather dies alone. So she comes back to New York City, and that's where she decides to be a death doula. But it also kind of stops her from living her own life because she's so involved with, like, not getting hurt and not letting people hurt her, and she won't get rid of her grandfather's stuff. So overall, though, this is a book about letting people in again and
Okay.
learning to love and accept relationships. So it's like, it's got a lot of layers, and I
Yes.
finished it yesterday, and I needed to talk about it.
Oh,
I need to
wow.
talk about it more, but I'll leave it at that for now.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. So
Yeah.
if you want to read it and then chat with Lindsey, she can be found at the
Yes.
library. Fantastic. Before we take a quick break, I'll just talk about one more. So Finley Donovan jumps the gun. So this is the third in the Finley series. And as we know, crazy things happen to her. She seems to always be there when tragedy strikes. In this one, her and her nanny actually crash a car that they borrowed from the mob. And now they are in trouble because the mob wants their car back. So this is a funny, laugh out loud, edge of your seat thriller. And if you haven't read the Finley Donovan series, you can start with number 1, but you can jump right into. But these are so much fun to read. So these are, to me, the perfect beach book. So we're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, Lindsey and I will tell you even more books to read and maybe a few other things going on at the library. Stay tuned.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I'm an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Welcome back to At Your Library. Here at Esker Point Beach with my coworker Lindsey, we're talking about what to read at the beach this summer. But before we go any further, I just want to talk really quick about our summer reading program. Our program goes on through August 11th, and it is for all ages, from babies till the end. And our theme is submerge yourself in reading. So all you have to do is stop by the library and pick up this nice little game board, and it has little challenges to compete, and when you're done, you bring it back and you get a prize. It's very easy, gets you motivated, gets your kids excited, and some really good prizes. So stop by the library for summer reading now through August 11th. Back to my books. Charles Todd is a New York Times bestseller. This is a historical story. It's after World War I, and the main character is a nurse who is now not needed by the Army anymore. So she goes to work for a family, but she finds that there's a lot of not quite right things going on in this family. So there is a murder, there's some good guys and some bad guys, and she is right in the middle of this. So Bess Crawford is the nurse, and if you've read any of Charles before, you might have met Bess already. But this is a really good, entertaining, suspenseful, historical book for you. Also, I have Shell Beach. This is the new book by Davis Bunn. This is for fans of Nicholas Sparks. This is a small California town, and Noah, the main character, is ready for some changes in life. So he's soul searching to find out who he is, and he meets these people along the way that help him with his journey. So if you like Nicholas Sparks and you want to have a nice light book to read this summer, this is one to read. This is a really good one.
Okay, so this one is the opposite of light.
Excellent.
Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. It starts off with a murder, so I fall asleep a lot at the beach. This is the book you want if you want to be awake at the beach.
That's awesome.
So the main character, she sees her son kill someone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's not prepared for it, has no idea what's going on. She doesn't know the man that he's killed, is completely confused, goes to the post office. They're not going to the post office, they're going to the police office. They go to the police office, they can't figure it out. She goes to bed that night and she wakes up at the day before.
Oh,
so she ends up going
okay.
backwards in time to try and figure out clues as to what is going on. So it's very similar to your like suspense thrillers, but the format is different, where she's going backwards for clues instead of going forwards for clues. And made the twists so much better because you can almost get them, but not quite.
Okay.
And it's just a really different book for people who like thrillers.
Nice.
So,
It sounds like one to definitely keep you awake.
yeah, absolutely no napping with this one.
Nice. Well, as also murder seems to be our theme today, this one is a brand new author and a brand new cozy mystery series. So this takes place in a cannabis cafe. So she is a baker with cannabis, and it's a cozy mystery. It's a debut novel, and Chloe is our baker, and of course there's a murder and we need to figure out who it is. So if you're looking for something that is absolutely on trend right now, super cute, ready to read, this is the one you want. It's a brand new book, The Half-Baked Murder by Emily George. Memoir. I love a good memoir. Jenna Friedman is a TV screenwriter. She's written for a lot of famous TV shows, talk shows, and I think a podcast as well. This book, she talks about comedy, cancel culture, you know, what's going on with work these days, why we are so obsessed with celebrities, and she does it all in her very funny voice. So this is a really good one. So lessons on life and something to read when you're thinking, what is happening in this world? Well, this is what's happening and this is how we get through it. So this is my favorite book of the summer. I probably should have saved it for last. So this is the story of Bianca, who is in New York City. Life sucks for Bianca. Everything is falling apart until she goes to a bar in Manhattan one night by herself and meets Eric. Now, Eric is a dream, but it turns out that he is a famous Korean pop star, and he is only in town for 12 hours. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna do everything that you wanna do in New York City to fall in love. They're gonna go to the Empire State Building, they're gonna go to Serendipity and have ice cream. They're just gonna enjoy all 12 hours together. And what happens after that? Well, I don't know, you'll have to read to find out, but New York City is one of my favorite places, so this is the book I recommend for this summer. This is 12 Hours in Manhattan by Mon Gabriel. And my last book is by Owen King. I know a few of you might have heard of Stephen King. Well, Owen is his youngest son. This is a fantasy book, it's a horror, it's a thriller, it's about a missing brother. In a museum. They think everything's just, well, you know, cut and dry, but as they're looking for him, they find quite a lot to be bargained with. He is an amazing writer. I have read other ones of his books, and he does have a voice different than his father, but he really gets in there with the horror and the fantasy. So The Curator by Owen King is now available on our shelves.
Very cool. Okay, so the next book I'm going to talk about is In the Lives of Puppets by T.J. Klune. I have not actually read this one, but I'm so excited. T.J. Klune also wrote The House in the Cerulean Sea and Under the Whispering Door. And in general, his books are about found families in the sweetest, funnest way possible. And I'm just looking forward to that like warming feeling that all of his books give. I've seen him speak once, and one thing that I love that he said was that when he writes queer characters, they always have a happy ending.
Oh,
so I don't know if that happens in this, but I'm expecting it to, and really hopeful.
The cover is really beautiful.
All of them are. Anything by T.J. Klune, read it if you need a feel-good book, which sometimes you just need the happy ending.
Absolutely, we want those at the beach.
Absolutely.
Well, if it's raining and you can't go to the beach and you don't know what to do, or you have a little financial and you can't spend money for all the, you know, expensive things in life, then you should come to the library. Sorry, I just bent down out of the camera, but at the library, you can check out for free with your library card a Roku device. All you need is the internet, and this comes with Prime Video, Netflix, PBS, Pluto, and many titles that we have loaded on here. Every time we buy a DVD for our collection, we can add it onto here as well. So if you are just visiting or you want to try something out, Roku's go out for 7 days. Also, one thing we've added this year are video games. Your child has the game, you spent a lot of money on it, and they beat it in an hour. Then what? Well, you come to the library. We have Xbox, we have PlayStation, and we have Nintendo Switch. So come and check out our selection of these. Last month, 183 video games got checked out in the month of June. Yep. And now the kids aren't even in school. So not just saying they're for kids, but video games, we have them. Don't want to be tech, want to stay unplugged this summer? Well, guess what? We have board games too, for all ages. This is Robot Turtles, and it's a game for little programmers. So through gaming, your child will actually learn how to program. So it's a great STEM device and a fun game. Plus turtles, they're so cute. For those older kids or adults, we have Trivial Pursuit 2000. Do you remember those years? Do you remember what was hot? What was the fads? Well, this is the game for you. And this is to the library too. So we have lots of board games, lots of video games, the Rokus. We actually have a Nintendo Switch Lite that you can check out. Yep. Come on into the library. We have toys for the kids to check out. Anything you need to help you through the summer, whether you're at the beach or reined in at home. So thank you, Lindsey, for coming.
Thanks.
I'm just going to have Lindsey plug. Lindsey runs this great book club for what ages is it?
It's 21 to 40-year-olds, so that like millennial Gen Z group that are, you know, out of school and kind of looking for friends and community. We read on a theme instead of read a specific book, so you can still read what you want. You know, sometimes book groups you have to read a certain book, and it's not for you. So now you can choose the genre, but the theme is broad. So this next month we're reading, the theme is planes, trains, automobiles, and spaceships.
Oh wow.
So any types of transportation, and summer's hard, so I honestly say if there is a car in the book, counts. Come to book club. We usually do a fun craft or activity, and then we talk. And it's a nice little group.
I think this book club is so important because we have the story times for kids, and we have book clubs that have been around for a long time, and they have their, you know, group. I don't want to say older people because it's all open to all ages, but you know, when you're looking for like-minded individuals around your age, I think this is an amazing addition to our library. So you can come into the library, you can go on our website, you can get our newsletter. We have so much going on this summer, activities for everybody, summer reading, lots of things at the library. So when you're looking for something to do this summer, please stop at the Groton Public Library. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
This has been At Your Library. Thanks for checking in.